This video is all about raw emotions, guys. Hence, you can imagine the challenge of staying objective throughout this entire review. But the fact is, the HEDDphone 2, this thing right here, has a flair for quickly tapping into and messing with human sentiment, yours truly included. And as you'll see in the rest of this video, this highly talked about headphone from Germany gave me the most feels of anything I've ever reviewed on this channel, hands down. Kind of like season 28 of General Hospital. Similar to, but yet not at the same time, to the so-called ribbon tweeters found in many speakers nowadays, from Dayton Audio all the way to Monoprice. The ribbon transducers in headphones made by HEDD, this is the first gen, this is the new one, the second gen, are called air motion transformers, or AMT for short, and combined with their proprietary VVT, or variable velocity transformation, which is designed to broaden the operational frequency range. So what's so special about all of this? Well, pretty much every single headphone you've ever listened to works on the traditional principle of a diaphragm or laminate, oscillating to create sound. From dynamic drivers, planar mags, even electrostatics, they work around that general idea. Now, HEDD's VVT AMT have instead multiple strips of tiny folds that resemble bellows of an accordion, working together at different depths and widths to produce full range sound. When each fold is energized, an electromagnetic effect called Lorentz force is generated that pushes air out 4 times faster than at the fold itself. So this kind of speed is what gives AMTs the resolution and transient response that other types of driver technology can't really touch. Here's another interesting nugget. AMTs are so specialized and delicate that there's no automated process to manufacture them right now, so they're all hand assembled. And by delicate, it's really all about the AMT folds. You can hear it crinkling like a paper lantern practically anytime you move or adjust the headphones while they're on your head. Now, despite that though, HEDD has so much confidence in its VVT AMT design that all their products come with a 5-year warranty. That's like totally unheard of. They're like the Hyundai of headphones. One of the main reasons for the existence of the HEDD 2 as well as the HEDD 1 is HEDD wanted people like sound mixers and engineers as well as creators to be able to travel to different places, go to work on the go, and not have to worry about calibrating for new systems and readjust, spending time doing all those things, but instead have a headphone that they can just put on and hear exactly what the source is playing and do a one-on-one comparison that way. That's what their goal is, and true to life reproduction of sound. And so for $2,000, this thing is built to be on the go for work. It is solid, it is real well built, and really for the money. And I know it's expensive when you compare it to to Focal and Odyssey and Hi-Fi-Mans. This thing, you're getting a lot, guys. So let me show you what I mean. A couple of things that HEDD did to really reduce the weight and the bulk from the first gen to the new one is, for example, in material choices. Now on the headband, we have a Kevlar carbon fiber thing going with a side concavity right here to fit the strap. So if you're looking at this from front on, the straps don't protrude out, which is a nice touch. And it mates with an all metal yoke, all metal ear cap, as well as an all metal mesh groove right here. And listen to this. You can probably hear the cars going on and the fan going on in the background, but no stress sounds, no creaking, really, really nice. Even the leather is quiet. And speaking of leather, these are faux leather, so vegans can rejoice for the headband as well as the ear cups. And you can see the ear cups are typical of HEDD. They are rectangular. So for those who have wider ears, you might want to look elsewhere or just try this on and before you commit. But it is very deep, so people with deeper ears are going to be happy with this. But part of the reason why HEDD did this is so that the AMT drivers can have enough space or headroom to do their work. Now, the ear pads themselves, I'm going to just pop it off right here. And you can see that the way it attaches to it is just kind of like it slides over each of these brackets and it just attaches easily. It would be nice to be magnetic, but I guess it might have something to do with how the AMT might be affected. I'm not 100% sure. But it would have been nice because I don't see this lasting very long the more you do it. And here you can see a little bit through the light, the AMT VVT drivers. Because this is a portable work headphone, on the specs anyway, this has a 41 ohm impedance, which means it is relatively easy to drive with a good Meteor-centric laptop or PC with a good sound card. But I would recommend using this even with your cell phone or whatever connected via a decently portable DAC amp or amp to really wake this thing up. One really cool touch about these headphones, if you're trying to use them in the dark or just by feel alone without having to take them off and figure out where L and R is, really easy, guys. Look at the exit ports for the connectors, the 3.5 actually. So there's left and there's right. And because they point forward, you know exactly where right and left is. So nice. If I remember correctly, the HEDDphone One, if you were to get it today still, it's $1,800, and in the box, you're not getting much, like some accessories and no carry case. But for $100 more, with the new model, you're not just getting a lighter, smaller, more compact, more portable, more modern looking headphone, but this is what you get in the box too. A whole bunch of accessories in a sliding compartment, a cabinet looking thing. The box material is all recyclable, and let me show you what you get inside. And because this is a work headphone, check this out. You got a replacement ear pad that's identical. There's nothing different in the materials here, but it's identical. Head knows that you're going to wear it out, and this is replaceable. The cables are all Kevlar infused, so you know it's supposed to withstand a workplace or workspace. And there's all kinds of adapters, as you can see, 6.3, 3.5, 4.4, XLR to 4.4. You know, the sky's the limit here. They just give you everything under the sun because, you know, they want to make sure that you can get your job done. So at the bottom here, if you slide this out of the box, you will also get, let me put this down, a carry case. It's not as nice as something like, you know, an LCDX or whatever with its security box, but this technically is something you can slip in your luggage. It looks just more toteable. Has a carry handle and everything. The zipper has a nice sliding motion, and once you get it open, you get a bunch of space for your headphone, admittedly large headphone, and a really cool little storage compartment to store whatever cables or accessories you might need to bring with you. All right, earlier I mentioned that the AMT VVT drivers sound like crinkling paper lanterns, right? Well, if you thought I was exaggerating, just check this out. It almost sounds like your $2,000 headphones are actually made of paper, but I can assure you it is not. There's this weird thing that humans do. You might have heard of it, guys. It's called crying, something I've never personally experienced myself, because as an Asian male, tears were beaten out of me as a child. But fast forward 40-something years, and I'm in the middle of testing the HEDDphone 2 with something I haven't critically listened to in a while, the theme to Star Wars, and you can probably see where this is going. These things right here started to produce that salty discharge that people have been telling me so much about, and I finally experienced it because somehow I was so moved by the composition. How dare you, John Williams? How dare you, HEDD, mess with my life like that? On practically all the headphones I've used to listen to this track with, guys, the trumpet and French horns, you might have heard it, tends to sound really shrill or peak really easily, or they're mushed together, so it gets hard trying to pick the pieces apart. The HEDDphone 2, on the other hand, oh my goodness, it's like a warm ray of light piercing through a dark forest, illuminating the instruments to the point that you can practically hear errant key taps and air rushing out of the bells. And that's not to mention every other instrument happening around your headspace. No stone is left unturned, no detail is left out. It is surreal with these headphones, guys. Now, some of you know that Rage Against the Machine tended to record raw, right? In a studio without post effects. So one doesn't expect to hear anything special apart from the true energy and power of their performance. But in Bulls on Parade with the HEDDphone 2, for example, I could have sworn I heard some power line interference kicking in the recording somewhere around the 3-minute mark right before De La Roca comes in. I've never heard it before and was blown away that that information was there all along. One question some of you may have right now is, how does variable air motion tech compare to something like a well-sorted planar magnetic? So listening to an LCDX back-to-back, I know I declared the LCDX the GOAT last year, and I still think it is in many ways, but it looks like we have a new GOAT in terms of sound. Planar mags, as we all know, are already masters at speed and detail presentation and all that. And then comes along something like VVT AMTs that add micro detail that you never thought existed, and some of the cleanest and most precise transients that would make any sound mixer and sound engineer cream their pants. You may laugh when I say that this headphone is much more compact now. And to add to that crazy talk, I might even say that this is somewhat more portable as well. So where the first generation looks like it literally had 2 satellite speakers clamped onto your head and probably also produced their own gravity, the new one is still large comparatively, but at least now looks like a cross between one of those industrial earmuffs and a less dorky version of the Synaptic SE1. Way more manageable and visually more modern. The shape, size, design, and materials are literally areas where HEDD took criticism from the first model and gave us something completely new. So kudos to you guys. Practically all headphones allow users to adjust the fit of the headband around the skull by providing some kind of adjustable slider like the one on the first generation. On the HEDDphone 2 though, HEDD does one better, as you can see with its corny sounding headband system, which not only allows you to adjust the height, but also the ability to adjust the compression as well. No headphone does this as far as I know, but don't quote me on that. Plus points nonetheless to HEDD engineers for the idea and the execution. The reason the headband doesn't score higher is I think this needs a version 2.0. You just can't do micro adjustments with the tabs on this thing, let's be real. It's like a classic belt for your pants, for example. If you happen to need something in between the holes, you're SOL, right? Same thing with the headband. For the money, I would have preferred to be able to fine-tune the fit around my head a little more. My biggest dislike isn't anything to do with the technicalities or anything to do with the headphone itself, but rather that the HEDDphone 2 will only be enjoyed by a select few. This thing is so good, guys, that I wish more ears will have the chance to experience what I've experienced, you know? The high price is one reason, sure, although I think it's also because it's not mainstream. Not something you can like show up at a local Best Buy or even professional audio shop most of the time to take it for a test run. HEDD products are rare enough that you just won't find them available for testing pretty much anywhere you go, which is sad. From my gushing praise and waxing poetic of the HEDDphone 2, you might think that this is the best headphone ever made, and I assure you it is not. However, it is probably the best mixing monitoring headphone I've ever heard that's also bloody amazing for regular listening, for movie watching, for the price. It's expensive, but compared to other headphones in the same price range, or dare I say even higher, the headphone belongs in another realm in terms of audio enjoyment. The first gen was great, but except for the size. The second gen, they've heard everything and changed everything and improved everything, but I can't wait to see what the HEDDphone 3 will be like, and I hope they don't screw it up. Well, this has been the review of the HEDDphone 2, and I hope I've done it enough justice because it's all really about feelings and emotions, and it's really hard to put it down as words and on screen. And thanks to HEDD for sending me the OG as well as this one and trusting me with highlighting your products enough to share this with you guys, my viewers. And really, if you like what I do, remember to subscribe, like, and join the conversation down in the comments. I love it when you guys share things like criticisms and your experiences with products as well as discount codes and such like that. Super awesome. And remember, guys, to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news lately, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love y'all very much. Peace out, and until the next time.